another 6 clutch video, guys. Today we are in a rain-soaked day, and we got a 300 kilowatt to the wheels EVO 10, and this is my buddy Khan, and we've known each other years now.
Yeah.
We've since we were like what, 10?
Yeah, probably 10.
Probably 10 or something like that. And this is his. Absolutely beautiful. Like the red in the rain was awesome to film, and it's a really pretty EVO 10. So we're just going to take it for a little spin with the SST gearbox. It's pretty pretty. It's like quite responsive in a way.
Yeah.
Like it's not. There's no. You pull the paddle and you get a shift.
Yeah, it's quite instantaneous. Like
Like so, almost DSG like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say as smooth as a DSG, but almost DSG like.
Yeah.
So, God, what have you done to get this thing to bloody 300 kilowatt to the wheels?
So I've done quite a bit, Kenny. So I've got a new turbo, new injectors, new fuel pump, new intercooler, new cams, new cam springs. Exhaust had been done by the previous owner. And there's a few other little mods in there.
That intercooler looks insane.
Yeah, so decided to go with the ETS stenciled intercooler. Quite like the ETS look. Was kind of tossing up between the AMS stenciled or the ETS, and kind of like the ETS kind of finish.
And this is on E85 as well. So
so the tune is on E85.
And it smells.
You can smell it. Yeah, you can smell it. It's nice and sweet smell. From the exhaust.
I genuinely reckon, because I used to have an RX-8, and then one of my friends had an RX-7, and those obviously burn a lot of fuel, and you smell it. It almost like reminds me of them. Almost like that real rich rotary smell to this E85. But yeah, it's unreal. And you know what, like the ride is probably, because you haven't really done too much to the suspension.
So the ride has, it's been dropped on springs. So the springs, it's still got the Blisson shocks, but the springs have been dropped. So new springs have gone in. So it is a bit, the ride height is a bit lower to the ground. So it'd be harder to get in driveways and stuff. But other than that, a lot more planted to the ground.
And that was just quarter throttle. And I gotta say, the tune that's been done on this car, like, it's genuinely responsive. Like you just roll into the pedal and it pulls. Like it's not exactly laggy as well. I actually thought that, because these are the 4B11 motors, aren't they?
Yep. So these are the EVO 10 motors, the 4B11s instead of the 4G63, which were on the 1 to 9 series.
Yeah. Well, all the older sort of EVO.
That's right,
EVO. But like the steering is like ridiculously direct as well. Like I don't know what the suspension is actually tuned. The springs have worked well, I think. Like last time.
Yeah. So the springs, they have lowered the center of gravity, so you can pull it into corners really quick now.
Yeah. Now I'd like to push it a lot, but being greasy and Gordon's running, semi-slick tires on this thing and getting heat into these, it's a bit tricky. So I'm not going to push it like crazy, but I can assure you guys this is 4th gear, and just rolling into the throttle, this thing pulls. It pulls, and that wasn't even 5,700 RPM, and we were doing speeds that you shouldn't be doing in a road. So this thing, like a well-tuned, well-set-up Evo, is ridiculously fast. And that's why when we go to roll races and things like that, Evos and Skylines, say, are the only things that really win races, is because 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, these things pull like freaking nuts. Like this thing is 3rd gear, and it just...
And the other advantage of the Evos and the Skylines is it's 4-wheel drive, so you got consistent grip pretty much in corners and on the straight. So
but this is like, to be honest, like driven STIs and driven cars like this, I would hands down, if I was buying one, I'd still go an EVO 10. I know STIs are good and they have their appeal with the boxer engine and all that, for lap times and for, I don't know, like just outright grip and mechanical grip especially, I think these things take the cake.
Yeah, I think with the 4-wheel drive system, the Evo 10s do hold a bit better than the STIs.
Yeah. And you guys actually see, because we're doing an RS40 WRX, and I know it's not an STI, but that thing, you can push it into a corner really well, but it has a bit of a mid-corner underseat, whereas with this thing, we don't really see that, because this thing actually, it actually grips pretty hard, and I'm surprised. I thought I'd be getting a lot more understeer than I am, but yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think, and you can kind of narrow down the understeer as well with the traction off. Then it wants to slide the back out quite a bit, but
because you can do that, you can set it up.
Yeah, you can set it up in the computer just to have traction control semi-off or off completely, and then it slides a lot in the back. But I think with the wet, greasy conditions today, I think that's not an option.
I kind of want to live today, so we won't really be pushing a 400 wheel horsepower car all to the limit. But just for the initial pull, and like Evos, you know, I've driven plenty of them and raced plenty of them. Usually the power is nothing happens till about 4,000 RPM, and then boom, all of a sudden they go nuts. This thing, the tune is so good. Like it starts pulling from under 3. Like
and that's what when I was trying to set up the car, that's what I kind of put into mind, that I wanted a bigger turbo, but with low end spool time. Quite close to stock, but probably 300-400 RPM higher than stock. But I think full boost hits around 3,300 to 3,500 RPM, and it holds all the way to redline.
Yeah, and this is your new tune as well, because me and Gunn had a bit of a race, you know, a couple of years ago, and he was running, because that was a stock turbo then, wasn't it? Or was it the new one?
I think it was a newer turbo, but I think it wasn't as tuned as good. With the new tune, it runs a lot more smoother, and you get a lot more linear acceleration. So with the current tune, it runs at, I think, 26 psi from 3,300 all the way to redline. So it just holds the boost, the new turbo down. So whereas the stock turbo can only hold it down to around 6.5 or 6,000 RPM. It almost reminds me of like Mark 7R smoothness of the gears, like going through the gears, and just how like responsive the throttle is. Like the new Mark 7's actually really nice and supple. You put them into, you know, like race mode or whatever, and they do respond really well. And like being an Evo, a lot of people say, you know, Japanese cars aren't as like smooth and comfortable to be in, and like, sure, this thing sort of like every gear shift, it sort of knocks you a little bit, but how linear, like I can't explain how linear the throttle response in this thing is. Like the tune in this is so nice compared to last time. Like last time I saw it, it was hitting redline too much in the last tune, too much boost, and just hitting redline and just popping off redline. So it actually shifts at the right time now.
Finally. What's the fuel economy like?
The fuel economy is pretty bad on this. Probably get around 20 liters for 100.
But you don't drive this thing every day anyway.
So this is just a weekend car, so it only gets around maximum 50 to 100 k's per week. So
that's fair enough.
And most of the trips are quite short, so that's why the fuel economy is a bit down as well.
But like this is, even like the steering weight is quite nice. I think like it's not too heavy, it's not too light, and it's just the front end is so bloody grippy. And it just
goes.
It really does.
Normally when you plant it, wherever you put the steering, it goes.
It really does.
That's where it goes.
And like maybe the tires have got some nice grip, like heat into them and that, but we're pushing this on a pretty greasy road, and I'm not getting much slip at all. Like there is not much that I have to do to get the car going straight. Maybe, you know, some bumps do unsettle it a little bit, but it is a stiff car. You know, it's not designed to be a comfortable cruiser by any means.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, man, this is awesome. Like, and possibly one of the best tunes I've seen on a Evo, in any Evo, to be honest. Like, compared to a lot of tunes that I've seen, they're a lot laggy down low. You know, nothing really happens. Whereas this thing, it like I'd say from 2800 RPM, it's on. Like,
it starts, the turbo. You can start hearing the turbo. It starts pulling up, and it starts pulling from there.
Yeah, and you actually get some genuine like throttle. You actually get some boost, and you actually get some pace about you. Yeah, the gear shifts sort of knock you back a little bit. They're not the smoothest of them all, but hey, for the
I think for the amount of power it's running, it's still compromisable. You can't really have the best of smooth gear shifts there.
And that was full throttle, and that moves. That genuinely moves. And I think obviously over a manual gearbox, this gearbox snaps shifts like crazy. But yeah, I'm actually shocked like how nice it is, even for being a 2009 now. Like it's almost 9 years old, the car. Yeah. And the gearbox still feels quite nice, like still responsive enough and not.
Yeah, it's still quite smooth. Which I like about it.
But yeah, it's an excellent car. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks to Gordon for letting me drive his excellent Evo 10.
And thanks for having me on the video.
Cheers, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.